Good evening. Let's stand for a moment of silence followed by the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the July 22nd, 2019 school board meeting. We won't have any comments tonight. 3, truth and millage. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, this is our special session on for our trim meeting, and our first thing on our agenda is the presentation of the millage, tentative millage and budget. And if you look somewhere on your agenda, the people at the city and county government people, they've done their due diligence. And so what we need to do, we've got our budget. Did everybody see that budget?
Yes.
That's the proposed budget that Mr. Barnes has put together. We're gonna have to vote on that proposed budget, and it's in the same format that we've done last year. And with the budget, basically, he's proposing we'll wind up the year with about a 5 or 6% fund balance. That's what the budget he's got proposed. But before, I'm going to need these different rates. I need a motion for all the rates.
Okay. And you have to repeat it.
Okay, you gotta repeat them verbatim. The taxing authority is the school board of Madison County, Florida, and the total millage rate is to be levied. Excuse me, sorry about that. Okay. The tax authority of the school board of Madison County, Florida, and the total millage rate to be levied is 6.095, is less than the rollback computed pursuant to section 200.065 parentheses 1 Florida statute is rolling back by negative 4.1%. And I need motions to advertise the district tentative millage rate as stated below. So I'm gonna need 3 separate motions.
Okay. I make the motion that we approve the required local effort at 3.8470.
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Williamson, second by Mr. Alford. Any discussion or questions? All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed? Becky, 5-0.
You do that one. Discretionary. You don't want to do it?
I make the motion to approve the discretionary at .748.
We have a motion by Mr. Alford, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Williamson to approve the discretionary .748. Any discussion or questions? By a show of hands, all approve? Oppose? Becky, 5-0.
I make the motion for capital outlay at 1.5.
We have a motion for capital outlay, 1.5. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Daniels. Any questions? Discussion? By a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? Becky, 5.5.
I make the motion to approve the advertised superintendent's tentative budget.
We have a motion for the approval to advertise superintendent's tentative budget. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Alford. All in favor, raise your hand. Oppose? Becky, 5-0.
Okay, thank you all for that. We've got a couple other things on the agenda.
Okay, under items for individual consideration, 4.1 personnel changes. Ms. Joseph?
Okay, our first thing on our personnel changes, I'm asking you for permission to advertise to fill a few positions. We've got, the first position is the teacher at Madison County Central School. Okay, to fill the vacancy created by adding a new position of staffing table for the CCS Bridge Program. And we know that is their alternative program. And since this is at Madison County Central School, we will have one teacher in there all day. And this is we're not increasing the staffing table. What happened is the prior years, our kids have been out at Excel, okay? And we had instructors that we were paying them, and we were bringing those kids to the central school. Basically, we want to bring that position to the central school. That's one position. The next position is for the elementary ed position at Central School. That's 2. That's paid out of general fund. The next one is 3 paraprofessionals at Central School. That's paid out of general fund. And our last position, I need to clarify a little bit. That's an ESE support teacher, and it says general fund, but it comes out of the ESE allocation. Those allocations go to general fund, but we do have ESE. These are our ESE funds. We usually think of IDEA, but we cannot pay for instructors teachers out of IDEA. We pay for it out of allocation, and that's the same kind of allocation as your Safe Schools allocation. And we take our this is just an example. With our Safe Schools allocation, we use all of that money to pay our school resource officers. That's what we can pay for. And so this is not, even though it says general fund, it's general fund special allocation for ESE. And so those are the positions we're asked to advertise.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
I'll make the motion to approve the personnel changes.
We have a motion by Ms. Williamson, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. Any questions or discussion? I did have quite a few questions about this, but Ms. Joseph has clarified all my concerns. I just want us to keep in mind that we do have a hiring freeze, and I ask myself when I see something, who vacated the spot and who's going to be hired in the spot?
Right.
If someone vacated, we're going to replace that person. So I thank you for clarifying that, Ms. Joseph.
The one with Excel, if you think about, we had teachers there, so really we're not creating a new position. We're actually saving money by bringing it back in the district ourselves, doing it ourselves. But we still had a teacher out at Excel that we were paying for, so we're not creating a position. If anything, we're saving based upon the total number that we paid out to them. So it probably is a net.
Thank you, Mr.
gain.
Alfred. Right. Any further questions or discussion? All right, by a show of hands, all in favor? Opposed? Becky, 5-0. 4.2 ACA Reporting Service Agreement, Ms. Joseph.
Okay, the ACA stands for Affordable Health Care Act. Okay, that is a program by the United States government, whereas you have to report whether the employee has insurance or not. And this is a company this company files the 1095s for us. And that's a form used to report information to our IRS about individuals who enroll in a qualified health plan. And that's a lot of work. And the reason I'm just bringing to you now is just that I inherited late, but I got to clean it up, and they've got to have the information. But this reporting is required by us, and we just do not have the manpower right now to do it. And it's just a 1-year contract, because I was listening on the news the other day, this might get changed next year. So we're not locking ourselves into a 2 or 3 year plan. But it's a requirement for filing the 1095s to the federal government, IRS.
Is there a motion to approve the ACA Reporting Service?
I make the motion to approve the ACA reporting service.
We have a motion by Mr. Alfred, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Daniels. Any questions or discussion? I did have questions about this earlier, but it was Mr. Joseph explained my concerns. By show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? Ms. Becky, 5-0. 4.3 SRO contract, Ms. Joseph.
Okay, just to clarify, and to satisfy your knowledge, you did approve an SRO contract a month ago. Okay, but when that contract was presented to you, we did not know the allocations for safe schools, but we had a deadline we wanted to do. But since we received the allocations for 1920 school year, our allocation, the total amount has increased. And so the sheriff department says, how can we use those other funds? Because that money has to be used in conjunction with safe schools. And so speaking with Officer Richardson, I don't know what his title is, he says that we could get another SRO. Okay, that SRO home base will be at Central School. But if we needed to fill in at another, we would have someone on payroll already that could float in and out. Also, this new SRO would be 10 months as opposed to the others 12 months. And this contract is in line with the allocation, Safe Schools allocations.
Good. Sounds good.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the SRO contract?
I made the motion to approve the SRO contract.
We have a motion by Ms. Bell, second. Second by Mr. Daniels. Any questions or discussion? I'm happy to see this happen, Ms. Joseph. I think that, you know, it'll provide the additional security for Central, along with helping with the other schools when there's an absent SRO. By a show of hands, all in favor? Oppose? Ms. Becky, 5-0. Superintendent's items?
Okay, I've got a couple of items. I shared with the chair a list of students that scored level 5s on the FSSA, and she's going to share it with you. It's a group of students that's been omitted, and I will get those and add them to you. Now, this is something that we did last year, and we've got 82 signs left from last year, and I think we've got a little over 100 of these. And so we will not be throwing those away. And so in case we wanted to, we need a total of 118 signs. Nobody will get a double sign. But we can't change these. We may change the ones that have multiple scores of 5. But I suggest that this is just information on it. If you want to do something, I'll get you some addresses and all that stuff. But these are the students that scored a level 5 on the FSA.
And I've placed each person has a copy
Okay.
of this.
Another bit of information, when we received our grades this year, I'm going to share this with you. Take one. Our schools are in turnaround status. And this is just a bit of information because next board meeting, I've got to bring a grant to you for approval. And our schools are tiered. And that just explains them. And it's kind of sad because our low performing schools, we were able to get some additional funding. And this is the amount that they would be eligible for. The high school would be eligible for the UNICEF allocation, and that's $258,000. And the Central School will be eligible for the TSSA allocation, and that's approximately $440,000. The Central School have written the TSSA grant, and I will bring it to you next week for approval. But I will post all this info on board docs and give you time to read about it. But that's all I had to present to you.
Thank you, Ms. Joseph. Ms. Williamson? Ms. Bell?
I would like to say congratulations to all of the students that made a level 5. and congratulate the teachers on all their hard work.
Mr. Alford?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Daniels? That concludes our meeting.
I'll remind, when's the next trail meeting?
The next meeting will be July 31st, 6 o'clock.
That's next Wednesday night.
July 31st.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Ms. Williamson, second.
Second.
Second by Ms. Bell. All in favor? Becky, opposed? Becky, 5-0.
Who's gonna close?